Hello friends, in the earlier classes we have discussed fundamental rights, directive principles of state policy and fundamental duties of the constitution which were provided by the constitution. So now we will be looking at various questions which were asked in the previous exams on this particular three topics. The first question is like this: which of the following is not a fundamental right? Go through the options friends. In the options it is given as right to equality, right to liberty, right against exploitation, right to property. So clearly right to property is not a fundamental right, it's a legal right, it was repealed from the constitution. So that is what the answer is, right to property is the answer. And second question is given like fundamental rights in India are guaranteed by what? These fundamental rights in India are guaranteed. See that the first option is right to equality, second option is right against exploitation, and third option is right to constitutional remedies. Right to constitutional remedies clearly says that this you can move to the court and it guarantees us the fundamental rights. Once you move to the court will look into the issue and it guarantees us the fundamental rights. Then go to the third question friends. How many fundamental duties are included in the Indian Constitution? It is under in Article 51, and under Article 51 there are subclasses from A to K, so there are 11 subclasses. So there are 11 fundamental duties are included in the Constitution. And fundamental rights in our Indian Constitution are inspired by the Constitution of fundamental rights are inspired by the United States of India Constitution friends. The writs for the enforcement of fundamental rights are issued by the Supreme Court. Generally these are issued by the Supreme Court. Then go through the sixth question. It is given like this: in which of the following cases the Supreme Court held that fundamental rights are unamendable? So it is under the Keshavananda Bharati case. Under the Keshavananda Bharati case, Supreme Court held that these fundamental rights are unamendable. Like government cannot amend the fundamental rights whenever they want. But it was later it was they made it clear that the fundamental rights can be amended, but they should not disturb the basic structure of the constitution. That is what the condition given by this given to this amendment. And directive principles go to the next question, that is directive principles in our constitution these are non-enforceable by the laws of courts of law. We know that directive principles and fundamental duties are non-enforceable in the court of law. Eighth question friends: which of the constitutional amendment gave precedence to the directive principles of state policy over the fundamental rights? It is 42nd Amendment Act. So clearly this 42nd Amendment has said that under the 42nd Amendment Act the directive principles were given like superior rights than the fundamental rights, but later it was reverted by the 44th Amendment Act. Then go through the next question friends. The chapter on the fundamental duties includes. So what are the what is that chapter says in the fundamental duties? Duty to cherish and follow the noble ideas which inspired our freedom movement. Yes, this is the fundamental duty. Then go to the 10th question, that is which part of the Indian Constitution deals with the directive principles of state policy? It is part 4 friends. And go to the 11th question, by which amendment were fundamental duties added to the Constitution? By which amendment act these fundamental duties were added to the Constitution? That is 42nd Amendment Act friends. And the article is 51. Fundamental rights are not given to bankrupt persons suffering from incurable diseases, political sufferers. It is to the aliens. To the aliens, all fundamental rights are not applicable, but whereas there are some other fundamental rights which are applicable to the aliens also. So broadly speaking, fundamental rights are not applicable to aliens, we say. And the directive principles of state policy was adopted from which constitution friends? This is from Ireland Constitution, that is Irish Constitution. And go through the next question. Which one of the following is the guardian of the fundamental rights? It is judiciary friends, court. You can move to the court. And which of the following articles of the Constitution deals with the fundamental rights? That is Article 51A. And fundamental rights are granted to the Indian citizens. So fundamental rights granted to the Indian citizens. This is the question. So to answer that, we need to see the options definitely. Cannot be suspended? No, it is not. They can be suspended. Yes, second option is given. They can be suspended during emergency period. Government will take care of all the rights. Will take away all the rights from the people in emergency period. Then go to the next question. Which one of the following by Dr. Ambedkar as the heart and soul of the Constitution? So Ambedkar has said that one article, that is Article 32, he said that it is the heart and soul of the Constitution, that is right to constitutional remedies. Which one of the following is a fundamental right guaranteed by the Constitution of India, friends? So that is right to equality. List of fundamental duties was added to the Indian Constitution as a part of 4. As a part of 4, part 4A, list of fundamental duties were added. In the Constitution of India, the fundamental rights, these were formed as a part of the original Constitution. Yes, friends, these are the part of the original Constitution. And go to the next question. Which fundamental rights, according to the Dr. Ambedkar, is like heart and soul of the Constitution? This is a repeated question. It's a right to constitutional remedies. Court enforces enjoyment of fundamental rights by issuing a writs. So courts can issue the writs like habeas corpus, mandamus, certiorari. We have seen this in the fundamental rights. And when were the fundamental duties of the Indian citizens incorporated in the Constitution? This is the 23rd question. So in 1976, friends, right to education became the fundamental right in the year. So that is in April 2010, that is by the 86th Amendment Act. This right to education has become the fundamental right in India. And under the same 86th Amendment Act, one provision in the Directive Principles of State Policy was changed, amended. So in the Directive Principles of State Policy, in Article 45, it used to be it used to be like free education for the children from 0 to 14 years, but it was changed free proper care and free education to the children from 0 to 6 years, and from 6 years to 14 years it was included as fundamental rights under the Article 21 as Article 21A. And at the same time, in fundamental duties, one duty was added. So for the parents and guardians, that parents and guardians must see that the student get enough care and enough education. That is what the importance of 86th Amendment Act. So these are the 24 questions what we have discussed so far, friends. So I think this will be helpful to you, and please go to the questions once again, so that it will be helpful to you in the exam. You know that in the SSC CGL you can expect many of the repeated questions. So thank you, friends, thank you very much. So don't forget to inform your friends about the We Focus classes, and have a nice day.